Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we are taking a look at some really fun spice battles featuring XL Shadow Piloswine in the Open Ultra League. These battles were submitted by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Piloswine is an Ice and Ground type Pokemon with the moveset of Powder Snow, Avalanche, and Stone Edge. To round out the rest of the team, this trainer is running Grass Knot Cresselia and XL Hisuian Electrode. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out XL Shadow Piloswine in action in the Open Ultra League. Hopping to the first match, leading Shadow Piloswine into Talonglame. This is a slightly negative lead overall. Piloswine is going to be staying in, trying to go for the Avalanche, but unfortunately Talonglame does reach a move. Shielding up the Flame Charge, and then going to fire back with the Avalanche. Avalanche will do quite a bit of damage if it lands, which it does. Shadow Piloswine able to farm down, and they leave with a ton of energy. Opponent brings in WALREIN, going straight for the Stone Edge. Does WALREIN respect the Stone Edge? They do not. Massive damage onto the WALREIN, and going to save switch into the Hisuian Electrode. This Shadow Icicle Spear will do quite a bit of damage. Electrode tanking it, going for the farm down, but it's a simultaneous KO, and the opponent's final Pokemon is going to be Swampert. So at this point, this game is over. The opponent just doesn't know it yet, bringing back in the Shadow Piloswine to force Swampert to throw some energy. And now, from here, Swampert can draw this game out if they want to, but all Cresselia has to do is get to 3 Grass Knots, 2 to grab the shield, and the third one is going to be able to secure the KO. Cresselia farming up quite a bit, going for the Grass Knot there and throwing on CMP just so the Swampert is not able to sneak through any extra mud shots. Second Hydro Cannon does get the Cresselia below half health, but at this point, Cresselia is going to be able to keep spamming out these Grass Knots, overfarming again, and able to get the extra Psycho Cut through. Cresselia does live a Hydro Cannon from this range, and Swampert does not have a lot of farm down ability with Mud Shot. Going to be able to farm up to the back-to-back Grass Knots. First one does grab the shield. This second one is going to be taking out the Swampert. Opponent not wanting to concede until the very end, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Piloswine into Umbreon. Fairly neutral lead overall, with Umbreon of course having the advantage in terms of bulk. Able to get the extra Powder Snow through, which is very, very nice. Will be able to tank a foul play, no problem. Opponent safe switches into Jellicent, but Piloswine is going to fire back, going for the Stone Edge. This will do a nice amount of chip damage if it lands. Able to grab a shield from the Jellicent. In comes the Hisuian Electrode, and Jellicent opts to go straight for the Bubble Beam. My guess would be, if they're going straight for the Bubble Beam here, that they are actually trying to stall out the switch clock. If they are, they will probably shield here, which they do, and from here, they're probably just going straight Bubble Beam. The goal is to try and take advantage of the misaligned switch clocks and save the Jellicent for later in the game. I do like the decision to hold on to the energy here because it is going to be debuffed. Opponent does switch out and they bring in Alolan Ninetales. Unfortunately, the switch clocks are misaligned, going for the Wild Charge to burn the switch clock. Back in comes Piloswine. Piloswine able to reach the Stone Edge. This is going to be absolutely nuking Alolan Ninetales, taking him out. Back in comes Umbreon. Umbreon just able to outpace the Shadow Piloswine. Unfortunately, Shadow Piloswine does go down here, but now it is time for 2 shield Cresselia, and Cresselia is going to do exceedingly well here with the shield advantage, as 2 Moonblast is going to be more than enough. Goes for the Moonblast, but the opponent makes a very nice catch, catching the Moonblast onto Jellicent, but unfortunately for them, the saved energy on Hisuian Electrode is going to be taking them out. Energy Ball taking down the Jellicent. Back in comes Umbreon, going for the Wild Charge, but they're just not able to get there. Umbreon just barely able to outpace again, but now we are back where we started, a 2-shield Cresselia versus Umbreon. Umbreon will be able to spam out quite a few foul plays here, but with 2 shields, there is just absolutely no win con for the Umbreon. Going for the Moonblast. Moonblast connects, does big super effective damage, and from here, Cresselia is going to be able to reach that second Moonblast. That is going to be taking care of the Umbreon, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Piloswine into Giratina Altered. This is a fantastic lead. Opponent is going to save switch into Alolan Muck, and it's Poison Jab Alolan Muck even better. Going straight for the Avalanche. This will do big damage if it lands. Opponent does commit the shield, and now going to save switch into Hisuian Electrode. Unfortunately, Hisuian Electrode does not have a great matchup here. Going for the Wild Charge. Wild Charge will not KO, and it's a CMP tie. Going to let this through at this point, sacrificing the Electrode. They go for the Acid Spray. They're going to be able to farm down, but they decide to throw. The opponent lost track of Electrode's energy and wastes an Acid Spray. That is a big mistake by the opponent, and now Piloswine may be able to Powder Snow down. Piloswine going for the farm down. They cannot get there, and I believe this might only be an Acid Spray. It does end up being an Acid Spray there, able to farm down. So they have lost switch, but it's a Mandibuzz in the back. This opponent is absolutely core broken by Shadow Piloswine, able to connect with the Avalanche, and going for Avalanche number 2. Shadow Piloswine, even after being Acid Sprayed, doing absolutely massive work here. Do you shield and try and take out the Mandibuzz? That's exactly what they're going to do. Committing the shield, going for the Avalanche. That is going to be taking care of the Mandibuzz. Who needs defense anyway? And now, back in comes Giratina. But this Giratina is not going to like playing out the Zero Shield versus Cresselia, because 2 Moonblasts plus a few Psycho Cuts is going to be enough to take them out. Going for this first Moonblast, this is going to be doing massive super effective damage onto the Giratina. And now from here, all the Cresselia has to do is get to that second Moonblast. They tank the Shadow Sneak here, no problem. Cresselia surviving that very nice undertap, going for the Moonblast. Moonblast here is going to be doing big damage onto the Giratina, taking them out, and that's a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Piloswine into Articuno. Fairly neutral lead overall, but if Piloswine is able to land the Stone Edge, then things are about to get fun. Building up to the Stone Edge, going for the Avalanche. Avalanche does get the shield. Articuno farms up quite a bit, and this could be the Hurricane. Piloswine lets it through. It is the Hurricane, does massive damage, and they get farmed down just before they reach the second Avalanche. That is very unfortunate. In comes Hisuian Electrode, but it is going to get outpaced by Articuno. They are going to commit the shield. Icy Wind would do quite a bit of damage, and then fire back with the Wild Charge. Wild Charge is going to be more than enough to take out Articuno. Articuno actually burns the second shield, and then save switches into Giratina. Giratina is just able to outpace here, but Cresselia can tank. They actually go for an Ancient Power, so Giratina actually fishing for the boost here, probably running Ancient Power for the better Talonflame coverage, but still, Giratina has a pretty nice Talonflame matchup, even if you're not running Ancient Power. Going for Moonblast number 2, this is going to be doing massive damage onto the Giratina, but Giratina is barely able to survive. They go for yet another Ancient Power, refusing to go for the stab move. They switch out on very low HP, and in comes Articuno. So they have saved Giratina for a potential sack swap, going for the Moonblast. That does get the Articuno low, and Articuno is forced to throw. At this point, you just let this go through, and then bring in the Hisuian Electrode, able to farm down, and now they have an energy lead and a shield advantage. You have to watch for a potential catch. It is Talonflame in the back, farming up to the back-to-back Wild Charges, and this should be game over. Wild Charge number 1 does massive damage. Going for the second Wild Charge there. May have thought that the first one KO'd. Either way, should be in a good spot. Able to Thunder Shock down, and that's a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Piloswine into Obstagoon. Pretty bad lead, going to instantly save switch into Hisuian Electrode. Obstagoon is actually staying in and going for the Night Slash to get some chip damage. Night Slash, not going to do a whole lot, and then they are going to respond with Poison Jab, Alolan Muck. Muck is going to be able to farm down, but they're going to have to give up a shield to do so, as Hisuian Electrode has the back-to-back Wild Charges. First one lands, second one is able to grab the shield, so unfortunately not able to win switch, but able to grab a shield advantage, and Cresselia with a shield advantage is incredibly deadly. Bringing back in Shadow Piloswine. Shadow Piloswine can tank a move here, going to let it through. It is the Dark Pulse. They decide not to overfarm. They are going straight for the Avalanche. Avalanche is going to be taking care of the Alolan Muck, and now it's all up to Cresselia, and the Obstagoon is not swapping out right away. So hopefully this means that they have baited out the best response to Cresselia. Going for the Night Slash, and it is a Shadow WALREIN in the back, and Shadow WALREIN does not appreciate Grass Knots. Cresselia going for Grass Knot number 1, that does big damage, and Cresselia does not have to shield here. Honestly, they tank an Icicle Spear no problem. They are going to be able to reach a second Grass Knot, and this is going to be taking out the WALREIN unless they give up the final shield. They let the WALREIN go down, back in comes the Obstagoon, but this is where that shield advantage is incredibly deadly. Cresselia is going to be able to spam out these Moonblasts. First one lands, opponent sees the writing on the wall, and concedes the match. Hopping to the next match, picking up a very rough lead Shadow Piloswine into WALREIN. Going to safe switch into his Hisuian Electrode. WALREIN staying in and going for the Icicle Spear. This will do quite a lot of damage onto the Electrode, and then the opponent responds with Snarl Alolan Muck. Hisuian Electrode able to build up to the back-to-back wild charges, so they will be able to grab a shield if the Alolan Muck wants to keep switch advantage, which it looks like they do. And now Electrode able to get off that second wild charge, and actually able to grab both shields, and just falling short of getting to a third. So able to grab a 2-0 shield advantage, which is very nice, but the Alolan Muck, since it was able to farm down, they have a ton of energy. Back in comes Shadow Piloswine, tanking the first move, but unfortunately, Alolan Muck able to reach a second Dark Pulse, going to commit the shield, and then will be able to reach the Avalanche. Overfarming, they overfarmed, and now the move gets caught. Disaster strikes as the opponent catches Avalanche onto WALREIN, and this is very bad, as the Alolan Muck is still alive in the back, and it has a ton of play versus Cresselia. Going for the Grass Knot against WALREIN, and at this point, Cresselia is just going to be used as a damage sponge. WALREIN going for the Earthquake, not as efficient as going for an Icicle Spear in neutral situations, but still does quite a lot of damage. WALREIN going for another Icicle Spear, Cresselia farming up as much as possible, and now going for the Grass Knot. They do have a lot of residual energy here, which is nice, because in comes the Alolan Muck. They are able to reach a Moonblast, but this does not get same type attack bonus. It's not going to be enough to KO. They switch back in the Piloswine, and the opponent has Swampert in the back. And this is scary, because Swampert is incredibly spammy. Going for the Avalanche, that does big damage onto Swampert, but unfortunately not quite enough. They're going to probably need to farm down if they want a chance to win this game. They're not going to be able to do it, so he is going to go for the Avalanche. Now the question is, how much energy does that Alolan Muck have? Back in comes Alolan Muck, they go for a move. I don't think Cresselia is going to be able to reach a move here. Cresselia is going to try its best. They are not able to get there. Alolan Muck able to reach a move, and they lose a heartbreaking game. Hopping to the final match, leading Shadow Piloswine into Giratina Altered, the absolute dream lead. Even better, they are staying in for a bit, and then they do save switch into Clefable. So this is very likely Giratina Altered Double Charm. Shadow Piloswine going for the chip damage. Avalanche does big damage onto Clefable, and now going to bring in Cresselia. Cresselia is easily able to outpace the Charmer, going for the Grass Knot, and able to grab a shield. Due to Cresselia's immense bulk, it tanks charms exceedingly well, so they are going to be able to commit the shield on the Meteor Mash, and then they can overfarm quite significantly here, so that way, either they're able to reach 2 Grass Knots if the Clefable decides to shield, or if they let it through like they do, then it's not too much further to reach the Moonblast to do massive damage onto the Giratina. Moonblast able to connect, and that does big damage onto the Giratina. Cresselia farming up and forcing the Giratina to throw. Giratina goes for the Shadow Sneak. Cresselia is able to reach another Moonblast on very low HP. Does Giratina give up the final shield? They do not, and they survive on very low HP. Back in comes Shadow Piloswine. Shadow Piloswine tanking the Dragon Claw, able to farm down the Giratina. What is in the back? It is Sylveon. So the read was correct. It is Giratina Double Charm. Going for the Avalanche. Avalanche gets the shield, and now from here, Hisuian Electrode just has to double up on wild charges, and they are going to be able to take care of this Sylveon. You absolutely love to see a double Charmer getting absolutely destroyed. Brings a smile to the face. Going for wild charge number 1. Going for wild charge number 2. Sylveon is going to be taken out, and that is a good game. All in all, some incredibly cool battles featuring XL Shadow Piloswine in the Open Ultra League. Due to its fairly unique typing and moveset, I do believe that Shadow Piloswine does have a decent amount of play as an off-meta choice in the Open Ultra League. Due to its typing, it is very good against Nidoqueen Mandibuzz cores, and with that Stone Edge, that can be a surprise one-shot nuke against Talonflame and do massive amount of damage to WALREIN as well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.